If you have a hormone imbalance and you initially just jump into a diet, what ends up happening is that caloric deficit may be so big for your body that you're depriving your body from nutrients that it would need to have your hormones stabilized first. It was a big weight off of a lot of people's shoulders to know that the reason why they could not lose weight was not because they were tired or lazy or old, that their libido was low or that their blood sugar was low. It was not them, it was their hormones. Hey, what's up YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. It's Christine with Gauge Girl Training, an online meal planning and coaching service. I'm a food scientist and chemical engineer by training, and in today's video we're going to be talking about weight loss after 30 and female hormones. So let's get started. So in today's video, you guys, this is a video that's been really heavy on my heart, which is weight loss after 30. And age does make a difference. Of course, there are always exceptions to the rules. There are always examples of people who are over 30 who are exceptionally fit, and we give all of those women all of the credit in the world. But I want to talk about for those people who tend to have struggles that make them feel like they're losing their minds. And if this is you, listen up, take some notes, listen carefully as I go through what things that you may actually be experiencing on a scientific level. What some people end up doing when their hormones are imbalanced, this could be age related, this could be from overdoing it and dieting for too long, could be a lot of things, but if the core reason is if you have a hormone imbalance and you initially just jump into a diet, what ends up happening is that caloric deficit may be so big for your body that you're depriving your body from nutrients that it would need to have your hormones stabilized first. And I think that we need to talk about this and look at this from a foundation of hormonal health. And the number one indicator for women of good hormonal health is regular monthly cycles. If you are not getting your period on a regular monthly basis, that is probably one of the number one red flags that there is something going on. So irregular cycles are a hormone health alert. I know when some women don't get their period as a result of getting too low in body fat percentage, which is very common to fitness competitors, people think, oh, one less thing to worry about, but it's actually not one less thing to worry about. It's something you should be extremely concerned about because it is so important for women to understand their cycles. If you do anything to improve your health, you have to come to grips with your cycle. And if you are losing your period, something is off hormonally. So there are several hormones that impact your body's ability to lose weight. Those hormones are estrogen, progesterone, cortisol, insulin, leptin, testosterone, as well as your thyroid. Now, while I named a lot of different hormones, and each one of those hormones deserves its own video, which I'm going to do in this series and explain how each hormone impacts your body's ability to lose weight, but in today's video specifically, we're going to be talking about estrogen and progesterone. So resistance to weight loss is most common due to the result of something called estrogen dominance. So first, let's go through some normal menstrual cycle basics. So every month, the female sex hormones prepare the body to support a pregnancy. And without fertilization of the egg, your body is going to go through a monthly period. This is very normal. Our bodies are designed, we're always trying to have babies. That is what our bodies were made for. On a very natural, primal level, that's what our bodies are trying to do. So if you look at this chart here, we're looking at the female fertility cycle. The female fertility cycle is typically 28 days, and that 28-day, think of it into two 14-day phases. The phase on the left here is the follicular phase. The phase on the right is the luteal phase. So on the left, what we're seeing is you are seeing a steady increase in estrogen as indicated by this blue line, where the estrogen increases to a certain point where you're about midway through your cycle, around day 14 or so, and then there is a sharp dip in estrogen. What happens is there are developing eggs inside of the follicles. One will emerge as your dominant egg and it's going to grow alone. That egg is going to burst out of the follicle at the moment of ovulation. So right there in the middle of this chart where your estrogen is at its peak and your estrogen steeply declines, what ends up happening is as your estrogen declines, your progesterone, which is indicated by the red line, is going to rise. So what ends up happening for the rest of the cycle is that egg is either fertilized, the follicle is going to be left behind, and it's eventually going to be pushed out of your uterus, and you're going to have a monthly period without fertilization. So what you can see happening is your estrogen is going to drop throughout the rest of your cycle, your progesterone is going to rise, and then it's eventually going to steeply drop back down, and this whole cycle is going to repeat itself. So as you can see from that chart is that when you ovulate, your estrogen dropped, your progesterone goes up. So estrogen dominance is one of the main reasons why people cannot lose weight. And this happens because your body does not have a spike in progesterone when your body is supposed to ovulate. And this is a big problem. So progesterone is an androgen. It is like a male hormone. Although women do have small amounts of male hormones, we do need them to function normally. And if you don't have the right levels of those relative to your estrogen, things are going to be out of whack. Now, estrogen is very important to women's health, and estrogen is crucial to make your cells grow. It is important for your uterus, for your breasts to grow, for pregnancy. However, estrogen, if it's left to just run rampant, it will mean cyst growth, it will mean fibroid growth, it will mean an increase in fat, it will mean an increase in acne, as well as an increase in cancer growth. Excess estrogen causes cells to grow. Let me repeat that. Excess estrogen causes cells to grow. And as you can see, this can become a problem. And it's not about having excess estrogen. It's when that estrogen is not balanced with the correct level of progesterone that causes that estrogen to go down, because your body needs that estrogen to release an egg. But the thing is, when during that ovulation, it's going to dip back down because the progesterone is going to rise. But if you're not ovulating, that is where all kinds of problems begin. What ends up happening is between the ages of 35 and 50, there is a 75% decline in a woman's natural progesterone level. But there's only a 35% reduction in estrogen. That is a staggering number, and I want to encourage anyone. Now, these changes can start happening more drastically as early as 30 years old for women, and it's going to depend person to person, especially if you are overweight. But the thing is, at 35, your progesterone levels decrease by as much as 75%. That's a game changer, and it's going to make it much more challenging for you to lose body fat if you are in a constant state of estrogen dominance. Now, estrogen can come from phytoestrogens, which can come from your food. It can come from xenoestrogens, which can come from chemicals. But the problem, in my professional opinion, is that estrogen is wrongly demonized, and it's because it's not understood. So what happens if you have excess estrogen in your body? A lot of things happen. And I'm going to read off this list, and if these things apply to you, it could be a really big eye-opening thing that you need to be aware of. So signs of excess estrogen include increases in body fat. So fat cells themselves are actually metabolically active, and they are going to produce more estrogen in and of themselves. So fat cells produce estrogen. And this applies to men as well, which is why, because fat is an endocrine gland, and that means it can produce estrogen in and of itself. Excess estrogen leads to depression, it leads to fluid retention, migraines, reduced libido, as well as increases in blood sugar. And the thing is, over 50% of women over the age of 35 struggle with estrogen dominance. That is a huge, staggering number that I really want to shake everybody and let them know that it's not that you're crazy. It's not that you're always tired. It is not that you are depressed, that there is something wrong with you, that you're always retaining fluid, that you always have headaches and migraines. It's not that your libido is all jacked up. It's not you. It is your hormones. And as a result of that, you guys, I want this to give you guys hope, because If you understand the underlying science, I am sick and tired of women being told that it is just their emotions and they're just PMSing and these are the reasons why they can't lose weight or they're just emotional, they're crazy, da, da, da. No, it is a hormonal issue and there is a way that we can address it, and that is the good news. And once I personally began understanding these things and working with clients one-on-one and employing some of these principles I'm about to share with you all, it was a big weight off of a lot of people's shoulders to know that the reason why they could not lose weight was not because they were tired or lazy or old, that their libido was low or that their blood sugar was low. It was not them, it was their hormones. And the root cause of all of this estrogen dominance all stems from the fact that your body is not ovulating. Infrequent ovulation is the problem. And almost all progesterone in the body is going to come from the ovaries. Some of it comes from the adrenals, but most of it is going to come from the ovaries. So cysts and fibroids cause estrogen dominance, stress on the adrenals, as well as high cortisol level. So what can you do about this situation, guys? You can detox estrogen from your liver. Yes, you can detox estrogen from your liver. There are some specific things I want to call out regarding nutrition that you can do to naturally detox estrogen from your liver. Reduce alcohol completely. I completely 100% without a doubt. Alcohol is actually going to increase your cortisol levels. It is going to increase your estrogen. For those of you ladies who love your glass of wine, who love all of that, I get it. I understand, but you need to at least go through a period where you go through a hormonal reset and completely detox your body of the excess estrogen so that your body can normalize itself. You can begin to lose weight in a healthy way and your body can receive the nutrients it needs and it's not being blocked by excess estrogen or excess cortisol. You gotta cut alcohol out, number one. That's kind of like common sense for some people, but it's not common for everybody. You gotta cut alcohol, number one. Number two is you need to increase your bowel movements. Bowel movements by increasing your fiber content. Now, increasing your bowel movements is actually going to be really important to detox the estrogen from your body. So now the FDA recommends around 17 to 20 grams of fiber for women. I believe around 25 grams of fiber for men. I would personally go upwards of 40, maybe even 50 grams of fiber for a short period of time. When I say short period of time, at least 1, maybe even 2 weeks to really get your body cleansed and have healthy bowel movements and getting things cycling through your body and system. The next thing that you're going to want to do is you're going to want to increase your content of cruciferous vegetables. And there's a specific reason for this. One thing real quickly, the way I recommend driving your fiber up is obviously you want to get vegetables, but I highly recommend increasing your fat content and getting your fiber up from chia seeds, flax seeds, hemp seeds, healthy fats like avocado, almonds. You want to have real whole foods, good sources of fat. I don't recommend going too low in fat if you need a hormonal reset. I would probably not go anywhere south of 65 grams of fat. I would keep your fat content high. It could be as high as keto, but the thing is, I think keto may be a little bit too high initially if you need a reset. It might be a little too high initially if you need a reset because I recommend higher fiber initially before you start doing that, and that's not necessarily going to work right away. So the next thing is more cruciferous vegetables. They contain a specific ingredient, which is also known as IC3. Now, IC3 is shorthand for indole 3 carbinol. Now, this chemical is a very important ingredient that is found naturally in broccoli, cabbage, cauliflower, collard greens, kale, and I believe turnips, as well as Brussels sprouts. IC3 is the thing that you specifically need more of. So yes, it's good to eat your broccoli, your cabbage, your cauliflower, collard greens. These are all good, healthy foods, but we want the IC3 out of them. So I recommend, now you can get IC3 in a capsule form, but Real Whole Foods is always awesome. These are all really foods I personally think taste awesome, but this is a product that is formed from the breakdown of glucobrasicin, a chemical compound that is naturally found in these things. And research has shown that when given before or simultaneously with a carcinogen, IC3 has the ability to inhibit the development of cancers of the breast, colon, stomach, liver, prostate, and in lungs. And in some experimental studies, it has also been shown that IC3 can lower oxidative stress by scavenging free radicals in the body. IC3 is something you all need to know about. You need to learn about it. It's not talked about. And nutritionally, yes, you may be getting some of it without realizing it, but I want you guys to load up on those cruciferous. So again, the final results of what you need to do is, number 1, cut out alcohol. Number 2, increase your bowel movements by increasing your fiber content. We want more chia, more flax, more hemp. I suggest 30 to 40 grams of fiber per day. You could even go upwards in the 40 to 50 range, as much as your body can safely tolerate. The hormones are eliminated through the bowels when you do this type of detox. I encourage you guys to minimize plastics and be very, very careful of your personal care items. Be mindful of xenoestrogens, cleaning products. You want to go as organic as you possibly can. You want to have green tea extract every day because green tea has some very helpful ingredients that are great for resetting the hormones. It's got to be green tea, not like black tea, not vanilla chai, not all that crazy stuff. It's got to be green tea. I do encourage you to eat turmeric with your food, as well as some progesterone promoting herbs. So this is a very high level overview of my tips for things that you should do hormonally, and you should do a hormone reset to naturally detox your body of excess estrogens, and this occurs again when your body does not ovulate. If you guys would like me to create a meal plan or an estrogen reset protocol, if you want to do an estrogen detox, let me know. If there is enough interest, I would be willing to create an estrogen detox plan, because I think a lot of you need to focus on detoxing your hormones first before you jump into a fat loss plan. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you